Welcome back to ZNGP Today. Ducati has confirmed what many feared. Reigning world champion Marc Márquez will not return to the track in 2025 after suffering a fractured coracoid and ligament damage to his right shoulder in the crash at the Indonesian Grand Prix. Initially managed without surgery, the injury failed to heal as expected and required an operation, a decision that rules the 32-year-old out of the remaining rounds and the end-of-season testing schedule as he begins a conservative recovery plan. Valentino Rossi has weighed in on the tough 2025 season for his protégé, Pecco Bagnaia. The VR46 Academy founder and 9-time world champion admitted he's puzzled by Bagnaia's form slump but hinted that sharing a garage with Marc Márquez has been a major psychological and performance factor. Speaking to Sky News Italy, Rossi expressed both support and concern, reaffirming his belief that Bagnaia will rebound despite a difficult year. Francesco Bagnaia admitted the bleak possibility of slipping further down the 2025 championship after another difficult weekend at Phillip Island. With Gresini's Alex Marquez poised to seal second and Marco Bezzecchi breathing down his neck for third, Bagnaia says analysis of February's Sepang test data could be key to finally understanding the GP25's behavior and arresting his slide. Don't forget to click subscribe button and the bell icon for MotoGP news update. Marquez's collision in Mandalika left him with a fracture and ligament damage to his right shoulder. Although early medical checks in Madrid suggested surgery might not be necessary, a week of monitoring showed the healing was not progressing and doctors opted to operate. Ducati says the clinical evolution is now positive, but the chosen medical path requires full immobilization followed by rehabilitation. Analyzing the entire situation, we believe that the most appropriate, clever and consistent course of action is to respect the biological timing of the injury, even if that means I will no longer be able to race this season or attend the testing session. Prioritizing long-term fitness over short-term returns is the sensible, if bitter, choice for a rider preparing for another full campaign in 2026. Ducati stated Marquez must spend 4 weeks with the arm completely immobilized before beginning structured rehabilitation. That window, coupled with the demands of high-level shoulder recovery, makes a comeback this year impossible. Team doctors and personnel have emphasized steady, medically guided progress rather than rushed returns. Immobilization delays strength and conditioning work, so even when clinical healing is confirmed the road back to race fitness is long, and Ducati appears determined not to gamble with that timeline. Marquez's absence is a double blow. It removes a key title contender from the track and deprives Ducati of crucial input for its 2026 machine during Valencia testing. General Manager Gigi D'Oligna publicly backed the medical decision while lamenting the lost development time. Ducati's immediate step is to maintain continuity in the factory effort with experienced hands. The team supports the doctor's choice and accepts the short-term pain for long-term gain. Having Marc on track is important, but health comes first. Missing testing minutes with a rider of Marquez's caliber matters. His feedback shapes setup and development, so the team will need to adapt plans for winter work. Test rider Michel Pirro will stand in for Marquez at the factory squad this weekend in Malaysia. Ducati says it will confirm the riders for Portugal and Valencia in due course, amid mounting speculation that World SBK runner-up Nicolo Bilega could be considered for one of the final slots. Pirro's presence brings experience and continuity. Any later replacement decision will balance results potential against development priorities ahead of 2026. Despite disappointment, Marquez framed the decision constructively, reminding fans of the season's achievement, becoming world champion, and focusing on careful recovery to return fully ready for 2026. He thanked fans, Ducati and sponsors for their understanding and asked that the team's long-term goals not be overshadowed by the forced break. We know that a difficult winter awaits us, with a lot of work, to recover my muscles to 100% and be ready for 2026. This must not overshadow or make us forget the great goal we achieved this year, becoming world champions again. The tone is sober but resolute, a champion protecting his future performance by accepting short-term absence. Marc Márquez's 2025 season closes on medical advice and careful planning rather than on the track. Ducati's decision to prioritize healing preserves the rider's long-term prospects but reshuffles short-term sporting and development priorities. Michel Pirot will cover immediate duties while the team decides the final replacements, and all eyes will turn to how quickly and fully Marquez can rebuild for a loaded 2026 campaign. After 2 world titles and a close championship fight in 2024, Bagnaia entered the 2025 campaign as one of the clear favorites. However, the Ducati star has endured a frustrating season, just 2 wins from 19 rounds and no realistic championship challenge against his teammate Marc Márquez. His post-summer form collapsed further, with back-to-back non-scores in Australia and Indonesia deepening the crisis. Ducati's experiment with 2024 spec components briefly revived Bagnaia at Motegi, but consistency has remained elusive, a rare sight for the usually composed Italian. Rossi, who guided Bagnaia through the VR46 Academy and celebrated his Moto2 title with him, admits that the rider's struggles have defied explanation. Pecco is a 3-time world champion, including one in Moto2 with our team. He's very fast, but unfortunately, this year he's struggling a bit. Over the last 3 years, he's always fought for the world championship. He's proven his worth. This year, for a combination of reasons, he hasn't been very comfortable with the new Ducati. Rossi's words highlight the uncertainty surrounding Bagnaia's issues, a mix of technical discomfort and competitive pressure. Rossi hinted that one of those reasons might be internal, the arrival of Marc Márquez on the other side of the Ducati garage. He's started to struggle a bit alongside a fast teammate like Marquez. We're going through a difficult time, and we're trying to help him 100%, trying to figure out how to resolve the situation. We still don't understand what happened either, but we're convinced that Pecco will get back to the front and fight for wins again. The remark is intriguing. Rossi suggests Marquez's sheer pace and adaptability have affected Bagnaia's rhythm, perhaps unsettling the calm dynamic that defined Ducati's past seasons. While Rossi's comments reignited debate about Marquez's influence, both Bagnaia and Ducati management have publicly rejected the idea that internal rivalry has hurt performance. Pecco was happy having Marc as a teammate. So honestly, I don't know if he's been mentally affected. Our target is to have both riders in the right positions, and we will help Pecco come back. Mauro Grassilli, Ducati sporting director, to Crash.net. The official line remains unified, harmony inside the Ducati box. But with Bagnaia's confidence visibly shaken, Rossi's words may echo what many in the paddock quietly believe. Bagnaia's task is clear: rediscover form before the end of 2025 and reassert himself as a title contender in 2026. With Marquez sidelined by injury, the final races offer a unique opportunity to rebuild momentum. For Rossi, loyalty to his former student comes with realism. Only results can silence doubts. The doctor's message is one of faith, but also of urgency. Bagnaia must prove he can coexist competitively beside a force as relentless as Marquez. Valentino Rossi's comments reopen an uncomfortable truth for Ducati. The psychological impact of having Marc Márquez in the same garage may be greater than anyone admits. Bagnaia's slump, after years of dominance, has raised questions about balance, adaptability, and inner confidence. As the season closes, Rossi's call for calm and belief may be exactly what Pecco needs, but time is running out for answers. Bagnaia was unusually blunt about outcomes. He accepts that, with Aprilia's current momentum, finishing 4th or 5th in the standings is a real possibility. The tone was pragmatic rather than panicked, a rider and team agreeing to assess realities while hunting for solutions. Right now, Aprilia with Bezzecchi is working much better, so we just need to accept that it's a possibility to lose 3rd, to finish 4th or 5th. That candid admission reframes the challenge. This is damage control planning, not defeatism. Bagnaia's optimism centers on objective information. He highlighted the wealth of telemetry and comparative runs from the February Sepang test sessions where he ran strongly, as a potential diagnostic tool to isolate why the GP25 sometimes betrays him. He recalled ranking second to Alex at Sepang, stressing those reference laps could expose setup differences or forgotten calibration angles. For engineers, historical test data is often the most reliable compass when race weekends drift off script. The Australian round deepened frustration: 2 crashes across sprint and GP, a 19th in the sprint and another fall from 12th in the race. Bagnaia stressed he still did everything he could on Sunday to salvage positions, but the incidents underline a season-long struggle to find consistency on the GP25. Crashes cost momentum, confidence and development time, all commodities Bagnaia can ill afford as rivals consolidate pace. Bagnaia's brief resurgence earlier in the year came after reintroducing GP24 components at the Misano test in Motegi, suggesting small hardware choices can restore feel. He remains wary of hasty conclusions, however. Short-term fixes may not translate across circuits. The lesson is clear: incremental hardware and careful cross-comparison, Sepang versus race settings, may unlock a more durable solution. With Marc Márquez sidelined and Michel Pirot filling in, Ducati's focus tightens on Bagnaia's recovery. The approach appears analytical: gather data, compare with known good baselines, and iterate without radical upheaval. He underlined collective effort. The whole team and I are doing everything we can, while tempering expectations. Bagnaia's warning is stark but constructive. He's preparing for the worst while hunting for the technical insight that could restore him to the front. Sepang's test files may be the map Ducati and Bagnaia need, but turning archived telemetry into weekend pace will require precision, patience, and a little luck. Thanks for watching ZNGP Today, and this is your MotoGP news update. And see you next time!